Welcome to another edition of the Insider Mailbag. I'm Jared Johnson. I'm joined by the Mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, how you doing?
Well, not too bad, Jared. How you doing?
I'm good. So, how's your hot tub hunting going? I know for those who don't know, he has a big thread on there asking for hot tub advice. He came back from a vacation from Rio Doso. So obviously, he's made up his mind. He's getting a hot tub, and he's trying to get advice out there. So, how's that going?
Man, I tell you, yeah, anybody out there, if you haven't seen that thread and you're hearing this for the first time, feel free to chime in. I can use all the advice I can get. But what I've read has pretty much convinced me that this is something I want to do, get me a hot tub. And now it's a matter of kind of convincing the wife. So.
Oh, really? I assume she was on board.
Well, I've kind of hinted around a little bit. We haven't had a major powwow yet on the subject.
His wife actually suggested recently that we do a mailbag from a hot tub, which, of course, both of us looked at each other and said, no. Joe and I have really gotten to know each other. We've been on numerous trips. We've traveled together to all over creation at this point. But I think we know we know enough about each other. You know, we definitely have shared over the years, right? We don't need to share the hot tub experience, right? And nobody out there wants to see that. So, all right, let's dive into these questions. Actually, the first one's of the same vein here. Afro53 wants to know, how many pairs of sunglasses does Mighty Joe own? I'm setting the over and under at 6.5. Boy, you're way under.
Oh, yeah, way.
This
like
guy's
almost.
a sunglass nut here.
Well, yeah, but I've cooled it. I'm topped out at 16. That's okay. Where I'm at. And, you know, I'm over the addiction pretty much, I think. I haven't bought one in maybe a pair in 4 or 5 months.
Wow. Okay, man.
Good.
Wow. Was there like an intervention or something like with it? Because
you know, the intervention was I filled up my sunglass case. All the slots are taken, so hey, you know, if one of these things breaks up or something like that, or I lose a pair, then I replace it. But that's it.
There you go. All right, Texan wants to know our impressions of from the first couple practices. Who's caught our eye and made us take a second look? Yeah, I'll throw out a couple of guys. Eric Ezukama, I cannot go on about him. I was expecting a lot, and he's added 25 pounds since when at least last year. He was listed at 180, now he's up over, he's 205. And he looks it, and he's still running by folks. And the thing about him, there's two things that really stood out to me. On an intermediate route, a dig route, there was a guy who, I can't remember, he was an experienced DB, and he read it, and he was coming through him as far as to get to the ball. You know, he read the pass, the ball was late getting to him, and it looked like it was gonna be a sure pick. And I'm a Cowboys fan, as most of you know, and I'm not comparing him saying he's going to be as good as him. I'm just saying it reminded me of this type of play when Michael Irvin would like block guys out and shield guys out with their body, just with their sheer bulk and athleticism. And that's what he did. And it was an experienced DB. I can't remember his name. I can't remember who it was. And then the other thing that's really stood out about EZ is that his hands are huge. He has a basketball player's hands that for some reason I don't remember noticing. I remember Emmett Jones actually mentioning that on National Signing Day, just that he has unusually large hands, and which is obviously a really good thing to have as a receiver. And how that's helped him, what I've noticed is like even when he's had guys draped on him on deep passes, he seems to always come down with the ball because he gets those clamps on him, and it's been really impressive to me. So I think he's certainly a guy to watch. I mean, watch out for him. Another guy is Maverick McIver. Now, I haven't seen him read defenses. I haven't seen him, he has a heavy knee brace on, so I don't think he's close to being ready. I hope if he plays this year, I hope it's just, just to get a little bit of seasoning, just to be out in the game, not actually going full speed trying to run on that knee. I think another year of redshirting and a year of being in the system could really help him because the guy can throw. I really like his overhead delivery. He has a much stronger arm than it showed on Huddle. His accuracy, he's pretty accurate. I saw him throw a couple in the dirt, but the strength of his arm really grabbed my attention. I said, okay, I get it. I get it now, especially if this guy hadn't hurt his knee. Like, wow, this is a big time arm and a big time quarterback potentially here. So I like that down the line. Some other guys who really grabbed Adrian Fry. He looks better. You hear all the hype about him. You don't want to overhype people, but he just looks like a stud. He looks better to me in practice than Jayshon looked the last 2 years. That's how good he looked. And Jayshon was injured for most of his last 2 years. I guess his first year coming back, like in 2015 or 16, Jayshon was pretty dang salty, but his shoulder problems just really limited him the last couple years. Adrian Fry, looks good both in coverage and in run support and as a leader. He's bigger. I'm really excited for y'all. I think he's going to be one of the fan favorites. Adrian Fry is going to be a dang good football player. Him and Doug Coleman together, I think, are going to make a really dang good safety combination. I'm really excited about that. Now, cornerbacks, I still have some questions about, but safeties, I feel much better after seeing them in fall camp. I can go on and on. I gotta stop here. There's more in the notebooks and more notebooks coming, but yeah, those are the main guys where I was like, wow, these guys have a chance to be like really, really good players. Murdoch Coalition wants to know, he said, we recently mentioned that DeMarcus Marshall, or I did, broke his hand and was in a cast. Is that a current status, or is he able to go at this point? And do we see him cracking the 2 deep this year? Actually, the answer is both. It is a current status, but he is able to go. As you know, offensive linemen don't, I mean, you could be like, like a caveman, basically, as long as you're strong and tough and all, I mean, you could use, a club could actually help out sometimes, I mean,
a little head slap.
right. I think back in the days they used to like really take advantage. They've kind of limited that now. They caught on to it, but I don't know. DeMarcus Marshall is a guy. He's lost a lot of weight. He's done a lot to get his body into like going from being just a really big overweight guy to a really big guy who looks like a Division I football player. But he may be a year away, and they do have some other guys developing. So I would say he's either in the 2 deep at guard or very close. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I would go with that.
I think in a couple years he's going to be a guy who's going to be like a every game starter. I mean, and maybe even like not this upcoming season, but the next year.
Sophomore.
Right, absolutely. Redshirt sophomore. Juicebox wants to know, Mighty Joe, besides record, what would indicate a successful season for both the offense and defensive side of the ball?
Well, stuff that leads to progress leads to wins an awful lot, so it's kind of hard to separate those things out. But we can still go down that route. I think the first thing that I would want to see would just be consistent improvement over the course of the season. I mean, I'm not talking quantum leaps or anything like that. I'm just talking about each game. You see the team on all 3 sides of the ball just getting a little bit better, and you don't want to see the wild inconsistently, which I mean we've seen that before where you think, okay, maybe they're turning the corner here, and then wham, and it's like they take huge steps back. So to me, even if it's just like incremental progress over the entire arc of the season, then that's a good sign of what you can expect on down the line in the program. That same sort of incremental improvement should continue next year and the year after that, and before you know it, you're pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's one thing. Second thing I want us to see is that this team be as solid and competitive very late in the season as they were in the first half of the season, because we've all seen it so many times here at Texas Tech where you're at the midway point of the season and things are looking pretty good. All right, is this the year that they find? Does Cliff get it together? Yeah, and then completely off the cliff, so to speak.
Wow.
I wish I had intended that, but so you don't want to see that this year. You want to see the team that is just. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to be winning those games in November too much, although that would be nice to win a couple. But that you're hanging in there, you're competitive, you're not getting blown out. You're right there kind of on the lip of the cup all the way through the season. And, I think if you got both of those things going for you, then that bodes well.
That's good. I think I have concerns about depth, which may hurt that. But also, I think the schedule is considerably nicer, friendlier at the end of the season than earlier for the first time since I can remember. So that would help. I just want to see the offense be able to run the ball when they want to. Like even when a team knows they're going to run the ball, like, they still can't stop it. Because I don't remember the last time I saw that.
Yeah.
Except maybe Oklahoma State last year when you crushed them, you did that. And Houston, actually, both those games. And then I'd like to see the defense be a lot more competitive against the pass, because they just haven't been for a long time. I mean, even against the run, they've improved a lot. So can they do it against the pass? I don't know. We'll see. TTU in Colorado wants to know, what is our opinion of the kicking game right now? So for me, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the kickers, but I will tell you this. And I talk with other people in the local media. You're not seeing balls every 4th or 5th ball gets shanked, into the bench, and they're both the kickers as far as kicking field goals and the punters seem to be consistently kicking well right now. Now, if that's going to play out during the game, Who knows? Because these guys are all new. Every single one of them are new. The snappers are new, the holders are new, the kickers are new, the punters are new, the kickoff specialists are new, the returners are actually going to be new. It's all new, which I think Coach Wells had a really good answer on that. On one hand, he's glad because he got to bring in his guys that they want here. But on the other hand, they're all freaking new, so you have no idea how they're going to perform, Joe, once they're in front of 60,000 people.
Yeah, it's going to be a total crapshoot. You know, really, you don't know what's going to come out of the box when that happens. You know, I mean, listen, it may be a feeling out process a little bit for a lot of these guys, where you know, the coaches roll out with the guys that they think are going to perform the best, but then it doesn't work out, and so you're shifting around and trying to move people and try other guys in different combinations and whatnot. So. Special teams could very easily be much a work in progress, probably for the first half of the season before everything finally settles down. And hopefully at that point, you've got a pretty good special teams unit. They're not costing you some games, and, you know, God willing, maybe they win you a couple.
Yeah, and I will say the kickers that are brought in are all highly rated. Austin McNamara, highest rated punter in the country, can also kick and kickoff specialist. Jonathan Garibay, excuse me, was the conference player or special teams player of the year out there at the junior college of Riverside, where he came from. He could also punt too. So once again, they got some guys who could do a little bit of everything. Trey Wolf is still here, actually, from last year, was a walk-on. I've seen and heard good things about him. So they have options, Mighty Joe. We'll just have to see how it plays out, like you said. All right, Joe, man, as usual, great stuff from you. Thank you. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.